All right, so imagine this. You're scrolling through car news and suddenly you see it, the upcoming 2026 Mazda CX-30. And if you're anything like me, you stop, lean in a little closer and think, okay, Mazda, what are you cooking this time? Because the CX-30 has always been that quiet overachiever in Mazda's lineup. It's not flashy in an obvious way, but every time you drive one, it just feels right. And for 2026, Mazda looks ready to take everything people already like about this crossover and smooth out the rough edges, while adding a few surprises along the way. First off, let's talk about how it looks. Mazda isn't the kind of brand that suddenly throws wild shapes at you, and honestly, that's part of the charm. The 2026 CX-30 is expected to keep that sleek, flowing design language, but with sharper details. Think slimmer headlights, a slightly more confident front end, and cleaner lines along the sides. It still looks compact and athletic, but more mature, like it's grown up a bit without losing its personality. The proportions stay familiar, which is good. You still get that raised ride height that makes it feel ready for real life, curbs, potholes, snowy mornings, but it doesn't scream off-road truck. It's more like, yeah, I can handle dirt roads, but I also clean up nicely in a parking lot. And speaking of handling real life, one of the biggest things people are talking about with the 2026 model is electrification. Mazda has been easing into hybrid tech instead of rushing it, and for the CX-30, that likely means a hybrid or mild hybrid option joining the lineup. Not something complicated or intimidating, just a system designed to make driving smoother, quieter, and more efficient. The idea here isn't turning the CX-30 into a science project. It's about better fuel economy, smoother starts in traffic, and that calm, effortless feeling when you're cruising through town. If you've driven earlier CX-30 models, you already know they feel refined for the class. A hybrid setup just leans even harder into that relaxed, premium vibe. Now, for those of you who like to wander off the beaten path just a little, Mazda hasn't forgotten you. The CX-30 has always had available all-wheel drive, and for 2026, that confidence in any weather attitude continues. This isn't a hardcore rock crawler, but it's perfect for gravel roads, muddy trails to a campsite, or getting through a rough winter commute without breaking a sweat. Mazda's drive modes make things simple, too. You don't have to be a tech wizard, just select the mode that fits the conditions and the car does the rest. That's kind of the theme with this vehicle. It works with you, not against you. Inside the cabin is where the CX-30 really shines, and the 2026 update is expected to push that even further. Mazda has been slowly blurring the line between mainstream and luxury, and when you sit inside one of these, you feel it. Soft touch materials where your hands naturally rest, clean design, and a layout that feels intentional instead of cluttered. The screen setup is likely to be updated with faster response and better smartphone integration, but without turning the dashboard into a giant tablet glued on as an afterthought. Mazda tends to keep things driver-focused, and that's a good thing. Physical controls where they matter, simple menus, and an overall feeling that the car was designed by people who actually like driving. Sheets should be more comfortable, especially for longer trips, and sound insulation is expected to be improved too. That means less road noise, more calm, and a cabin that feels like a little escape, whether you're driving 5 minutes to school or work or heading out for a weekend road trip. Now, let's talk money because that always matters. While official pricing isn't locked in yet, the 2026 CX-30 is expected to stay pretty close to where the current model sits, with a small bump for new features and hybrid tech. That likely means an entry price in the mid-20s, with higher trims creeping into the low 30s. And honestly, that's where the CX-30 has always been strong. You get something that feels more premium than a lot of rivals without paying luxury grand prices. Compared to older CX-30 models, you're paying a bit more, but you're also getting better tech, improved efficiency, and a more refined overall experience. Looking back at earlier versions, the CX-30 started out as a stylish alternative to boxier compact SUVs. It drove better, felt nicer inside, and appealed to people who wanted something a little different. The 2026 version feels like the natural evolution of that idea. It's more confident, more efficient, and more in tune with what drivers actually want today. So if you liked past CX-30 models,